The Houston Texans are back at 500 after escaping Nashville yesterday with a 16-13 win at the gun. They're in better position to potentially make the playoffs, but I've got a couple of questions for you. First off, how should all of us feel after yesterday's win? Second, is this team a playoff team based off of what you've seen? I'm Paul Gallant. This is the Gallant Says podcast. Hit it. Get it on.
A radio show host in Seattle called Paul Gallant.
Paul Gallant's wondering the same things a lot of people are.
You are definitely living in the hindsight world today, Paul.
Do you feel there's been a consistent theme with the interceptions?
I think every interception really has a different story.
I was just kind of curious what Paul gets to see.
Grow, mother. Are you kidding me?
Paul Gallant, what the hell is wrong with you?
Oi! Welcome aboard the Gallant Says podcast. It is Monday morning, live on YouTube at Paul Gallant. Like this video and subscribe. Twitch at Gallant Says. Give me a follow, but I'd appreciate a sub. X, Twitter at Gallant Says Pod. Instagram at Sports Gallant, TikTok at Gallant Says, Facebook at Paul Gallant Sports. You can join the show Monday through Friday at 7 in the morning Central Time. What? And occasionally, after major Houston sporting events, it's also available after the fact in podcast form, wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Subscribe, rate, and review the Gallant Says podcast. If you want to cut me off mid-thought, best way to watch the show, in my opinion, is on YouTube. Super chat me there, baby, and I will play this and get right to your comments. But I will eventually get to them. You can leave them the old-fashioned way with an email, gallantsays@gmail.com, or by leaving a voicemail or text message at 281-836-3912. Again, 281-836-3912. Let's get in a good mood to start things off. I want my friend Mark Vandermeer to put us in the right place after a game that was far too stressful yesterday. Shout out to Aaron Raybould of the Texans radio broadcast team for always getting videos of these so we can actually see Mark on the call. This is how the Texans took down the Titans yesterday.
Austin Brinkman will snap. Tommy Townsend will hold. 35-yard field goal attempt for the win. Right hash mark from Matthew Wright. Here's the spot. Here's the kick. It's good! The Texans win it at the buzzer, and they get back to 500. They drive down the field for the game-winning field goal. Houston 5-5.
Rock and roll! They're back at 500. Given the way things started this season, did all of you expect them back at 500? Probably not. I thought there was a good chance they'd get back to it, because there are some cupcakes on the schedule, specifically the pulseless Tennessee Titans. They got fortunate against the Baltimore Ravens team that didn't have Lamar Jackson. They had Cooper Rush under center for that game. They played a San Francisco 49ers team that is exceptionally injured to get another win. And the other win they've got this year thus far was that game you just saw against the Jacksonville Jaguars a little bit over a week ago, where they're down 19 points heading in to the fourth quarter. They are far from perfect. There are lots of things that need to clean up by the end of the year. I don't know if they're going to be able to clean them up by the end of the year. We're talking about an offensive line that is very inconsistent. I don't think they stumbled into the right combination in yesterday's game. That was my hope that we would be saying after the game. Didn't happen. The defense, which is as great as it is, had a letdown towards the end of the game that almost gave Tennessee a chance to steal that thing. So there's certainly some things that you look at and you're like, when is it getting better? Because this is a marathon, and your hope is that a team improves as the season goes along. Are we seeing that improvement? Did Sunday show you that this team is capable of improving? Or was Sunday a matter of the NFL's hard, and even the shit teams, like the Titans, are sometimes a tough out? You take the dub, you walk away, and that you hope on a short week against the Buffalo Bills team coming off of an impressive victory over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where Josh Allen had 6 combined touchdowns, 3 passing, 3 running, that your defense is going to be able to do what it's done for most of the year. This team takes care of business against the teams that they're supposed to. Their best players in particular are the ones that do that. Nico Collins had that clutch catch on the eventual game-winning drive. He made a couple of really difficult catches. The touchdown grab he had as well in traffic. He and Davis Mills have a rapport. Good. The backup quarterback should love the number 1 wide receiver. Collins made big plays when he needed to. Will Anderson had a strip sack. Danielle Hunter also a sack and a half. Derek Stingley had a big deflection on 3rd down. Should have been an interception. Gave the Titans a field goal out of that. There's a lot of things that you would like to see more from with your stars, and obviously you'd want to see your starting quarterback, C.J. Stroud, back out there. Is he a star? I don't know. But the big players on this team, against the bad teams of the league or the banged-up teams of the league, step up when they need to. The defense takes care of business against the teams that they can completely overwhelm. Are we finally, in a measuring stick game, going to see the Texans take care of business? And last year, look, they did take care of business against the Buffalo Bills at NRG Stadium. They gave Josh Allen hell. He was running for his life. He probably got concussed in that game. They let him stay in. Can they do it again on a short week? This game is probably not making you feel more confident that that's the case. It's okay to admit that. This is a game where you played with your food against a bad football team. And it happens. Lots of teams do this. Some teams lose these games. To your credit, this year, you haven't. And if you want to say, hey, I mean, look, they've had a very tough schedule. Right now, the 5 teams the Texans have lost to this season are a combined 36-15. They lost to a now 9-win. I'm having a brain fart all of a sudden. They lost to a now 9-win Broncos team who beat the Chiefs yesterday. Last second loss where your starting quarterback's out much of the game. They lost to a now 8-win Rams team. Rams just had a really impressive win over the Seattle Seahawks. They lost to a Seahawks team that looked like the best team in the league until yesterday, where Sam Darnold finally looked like Sam Darnold. Maybe that's temporary. Maybe that's a rest of the year thing. But Seattle's got 7, and the Bucs and Jags have 6 apiece. Bucs don't look as good as they looked earlier in the year. Jaguars, I don't know what to make of them. That was a nice bounce back that they had yesterday, beating the shit out of the LA Chargers. Past Jaguars teams, I think, would have cratered, much like that 8-3 Jaguars team. Remember when they beat the Texans? Matthew Amendola's field goal hits the crossbar, game over, and then the Jaguars just completely shit themselves down the stretch. That UCF Jaguars guy, who I guess called me out. That's per a commenter who did not actually give me any corroboration on that front, but that's what happened to them down the stretch. The questions I have for you today, and you can answer them as we go along, or if you're listening on the podcast, you can just yell aloud. You feel / should feel blank about yesterday's Texans dub. Samson, the 4th, says on YouTube at Paul Gallant, nice to get a win. There's no way we can keep up with the Bills if they play like they did yesterday. Sheesh. Yeah, they look great. I mean, Allen threw 2 interceptions yesterday, and it still wasn't an issue. That was a game that if you were flipping back and forth between CBS and Fox, that game was on CBS, the Texans were on Fox, you'd have been able to watch the entirety of. Was a great game. Seemed like the most fun game of the day. And the Bills look great. What are the Bills? I don't really know. And I think we're going to find out a whole lot about them on Thursday as well. I think Bills fans are probably as frustrated with their team, which is 7-3, as Texans fans are right now. Because how the fuck do you lose 30-13 to the Dolphins? How do you lose to the Falcons, who just lost to the Panthers? But that's this league. Sometimes you lose to teams you have no business losing to. And for what it's worth, the Texans don't do that. Let's get to some of your comments on the TikTok side of things. I asked the question, are the Houston Texans a playoff team? Shout out to, let's see, Esaj7 for the follow. He says, defense is playoff caliber. Offense is straight trash. It's very inconsistent. Terrible first half for them yesterday. I guess the good news is Titus Howard's not hurt. So I imagine we will see that iteration of the offensive line again, with Trent Brown playing right tackle, with at right guard Titus Howard again. At center, you got Jake Andrews, left guard Jared Patterson, left tackle Ariante Ursary. But they allowed 4 sacks yesterday, and the sacks came at absolutely brutal times. Is it all on the offensive line? No, Woody Marks should have picked up that blitzer, but it's 4th and 1 at the 1, and you got stuffed. I mean, come on. That can't happen. You can't let that happen. Maybe you couldn't run the football, which is why you're running out of the shot. You're running a play out of the shotgun, 4th and 1 at the 1. There's another sequence before the touchdown pass to Nico Collins where the Texans ran a draw play to Woody Marks at the 2-yard line. And while they did eventually get a touchdown, I mean, yikes. Texans fan 254 Jeff says, monotone. Whoopee. We're at 500. I mean, you can look at it that way. I don't blame you for looking at it that way. We're constantly waiting for the Texans to win a measuring stick game, and they'll have the opportunity to in a couple of days on a short week. Let's read some more messages here. Neetam asks, does 10-7 make the playoffs? That's a great question. I think with the way the AFC is shaking up, it should. But you might have a bunch of other 10-win teams that you're jockeying for position with. The good news for the Texans at this moment in time, they have lost most of their games to NFC teams. One of the big tiebreakers for playoff position is your conference record. The Texans have a 4-2 conference record. They have a 3-1 division record. And they have one of the toughest strength of schedules in the league compared to the other playoff teams right now. Their strength of schedule, which is another key tiebreaker, is .549. Now, they have a pretty low strength of victory, but they have won based off of where things are right now. The tiebreaker over the Ravens and the Chiefs, both of whom are 5-5, because they beat Baltimore and because Kansas City has a 2-4 conference record. 10 wins, to answer your question in a roundabout way, I think should get you in there. Ronald Williams says, since starting 0-3, 5-2 since starting 0-3, should make me feel confident about this team. Why am I not feeling confident? Well, They just played a 1-win team and they barely won. They almost gave it away at the end. I don't think I ever fully believed that the Titans could win that game yesterday, and yet, what was it, a 95-yard touchdown drive with more issues on third downs to 3rd and 16. They gave up like a 50-yard play. Cam Ward escapes the pocket, gets a big scramble for a couple of first downs as well. I get why you're feeling like that. Jackson says division games are always close. Well, sometimes they are, not always. EZ_0790-CNC. Yes, they're a playoff team, but it'll be the same old Texans. Texans Picker says we barely snuck out a win against a shitty Titans team. Adam Tree says, I've seen so much progress from the offense. Hang on a second. I gotta make this chat window a little bit bigger so I can read what you guys are saying. Where did that comment go? I'm not 100% sure, guys. Yes, they are a playoff team. It's the same old Texans. I've seen so much progress, says Adam Tree, from the offense. The line looks a lot better. Woody Marks is showing he's the man. Well, I don't know. The running game did not work so well in this game. This was not a great game for Woody Marks, so I disagree at least on this one. Is it the play calling, asks Steve, or the plays themselves? I think that the play calling is perhaps a little more sus coming out of this game. Like, I don't know what play call they had, 4th and 1, that led to Woody Marks having to block a pass rusher. But you're running out of the shotgun 4th and 1 at the 1-yard line. You run a draw play on another 4th down at the 1-yard line. Play calling, definitely, this is not one of those games that's making you feel great. It's not. Offensive line, the play calling, Davis Mills, yeah. Gino Barrera says the Colts could lose 5 of their next 7 games. That would be nice. Senorito Eric says the Texans are embarrassing on offense. Why is the TikTok so much? You guys are crushing it. I appreciate you. Shout out to all the follows. If you haven't followed already, please do. Please do. Like the video. We love it. Texans fan 254 Jeff asks, can the Money Mills Mafia finally see that CJ Stroud's the starter? I think so. I think so. We had fun with that last week because it was a game before. It was a week before the Texans play the Titans. How much are you going to, how much stock are you going to put in to a win over the Titans? Not much. How much time should we even preview a game against the Titans? Not much. It should be a layup. So we fucked around a little bit. We made some attack ads from the Mills Mafia. Shout out to Kobos. What's going on, Raul? What else do we have? Oh, shit. Wandy, what's up, dog? I didn't know that was you. That's right, guys. We're looking in the TikTok chat. Did someone call the Astros mediocre, Chino? I mean, they kind of are, you know. A little bit. Greg Todd says Houston had a 3-peat yesterday. That's right. The Rockets won. Big clutch moments from Kevin Durant down the stretch in their win over the Magic. And the Cougs had a last-second win against Auburn. This was a good day for Houston sports yesterday. Didn't really get to catch those other games, though. Apologize for that. All right. The questions on the table, you know what they are. 1, how do you feel about yesterday's Texans win? 2, how should you feel about yesterday's Texans win? I think you should take a look at it from this perspective. The Texans were 0-3. They're 5-5. They've had a backup quarterback start their last 2 games, division games. They've won both. They had a backup kicker come in and hit 3 field goals. Obviously, you'd like touchdowns. But the next man up, or as the Mills Mafia might say, next man up mentality It's clearly working. Put a little sunshine on top of everything, huh? Yeah, do that. Let's react to some of the things that were said after yesterday's game and during yesterday's game. Maybe a last-second win over the Tennessee Titans isn't going to get you all bricked up. It's not going to give you a pants tent. But how about this? How about this speech before the game from Titus Howard? I feel like this is going to play well with the fans, personally. I think this is gonna play very well. Everybody, here is Titus Howard, now the Texans' right guard, pumping the troops up before the game.
They said they got the real H-Town. We the real H-Town. Come on. This is our. Come on. This is our franchise right here. Come on. We gonna let them know today, bro, that we coming and we taking everything. Come on. We ain't leaving without the dub. We shutting the doors. We taking the dub, and we going back to H-Town. Oh, top, bro. Come on, bro. Oh,
we the real H-Town. Some might call this speech before a game against a 1-8, now 1-9 team rather performative. Did he know a camera was nearby there? We the real H-Town! But we are the real H-Town. H is up, bitches! You know? That's going to make you run through a wall. So when you're at work later today, or if you're working from home, play that Titus Howard speech. It's on the Houston Texans Twitter account, and then run through a wall. How about D'Amico Ryan's post-game speech? Here is your fearless leader, who some call the Milk Dud Man, after the game, pumping the guys up, pumping the fellas up.
Great job today. Every win is a pretty win. Yes. Outstanding job by you. Way to come and fight. Find a way to win. So many guys making play. Will, the play you made right there to take the ball, outstanding job by you, man. Outstanding job playing great defense all day.
Texans swarm.
Hey, man, wait. I love the way we fought. Love the way we win. We can win any type of way. It doesn't matter. Just finish with the dub, and I like how everybody finished today, man. Let's keep building off of this.
I don't think they can win any type of way. I don't feel great about their chances in a shootout. I think they can win like a defensive rock fight. But keep going, D'Amico.
This one, no, we got a quick turnaround, all right? Got a quick turnaround. Play on Thursday at home, all right? So for you guys, we get back tonight, recovery starts, all right? Roland and his staff, the training room, sauna, everything will be open until 10 o'clock. All right, so guys, take advantage of that. Making sure you recover, take care of your bodies the right way. And let's go out, erase this one, put it to bed right now on the plane, and we're on to Buffalo. On to Buffalo. Let's go. Good team coming in our house. Let's go. One time, baby, Texans!
Hell yeah, dude. Jolly Green Joshy says, aggressively dance for us if you're a fan of the sports ball. How about this? That was for the TikTok. Just doing a dance like I'm from West Side Story. One of the probably gay, not that there's anything wrong with that, gangs of New York. You got the Irish and the Italians. You got the Puerto Ricans. You got Tony and Maria. Maria, I've just met a girl named Maria. And suddenly the Titans are looking like a layup to me. Anyway. Truth with ES6690 says, CJ or Mills, we're not winning against the Bills. Was that supposed to rhyme? It did. But that's a little negativity. Too much negativity, sir. Put a little whiskey in your coffee. Feel better. JD says the Texans have to go 2-1 the next 3. Jaguars are going to win 10 games with that remaining schedule. Are they? Do you really feel that way? Do you really feel that way? I don't know what to make of the Jaguars. I would say the Chargers being frauds, that's not new. They've always been this. But and take a look at Justin Herbert's stats in this game yesterday. Herbert must be injured, which is the obvious excuse that Herbert always gets. Herbert has a lot of excuse makers. Because, like, the very online football media loves to sing his praises. And yet, feels like we see a lot of games like this from him. Numbers for Justin Herbert in that game. 10 of 18, 81 yards, and an interception, sacked twice. Woof. Woof. Texans fan 254 Jeff asks, the Milk Dud man? Yeah. Does anyone remember that from last year with Steven Nelson, former Texans corner? We went on a couple of rants about Nick Caserio and also went on a rant about D'Amico Ryans. He called him the Milk Dud man. Stoner Punks asks, do you think gambling has affected football in any way? Like the fix is in, like people are throwing things. Clearly there's been some suspensions as a result of gambling. I think it's really hard to get away with some bullshit in a football game to a degree that it will affect the final outcome. Because if you're a running back or a wide receiver, you're not guaranteed to get the ball every single down. You're not guaranteed to have a lot of plays called for you. So as far as prop bets, you having an effect on that, since it's out of your control, since you might end up getting benched if they sense a lack of effort, or if you have a drop or something like that, I think it's really hard to do it in football. Could be wrong. This might be me being just naive. I do hate that it's everywhere. I really do. I'm not a big gambling guy. And again, if there's some sort of person who wants to sponsor me with gambling, great. I'll take your money. But I don't feel great about the amount of gambling. You can't get the fuck away from it in sports now, you know? Rick D says, bro, the Texans season is over. Dude, they are 5-5. We are going to know a lot about this team come Thursday, and it's a short week game. Anything can happen. You won the game with a backup quarterback on the road. I'm not saying you need to be throwing a parade or anything like that. It's more a sigh of relief and let's get the fuck out of Nashville. But don't cry about it. Stoner Punk says the refs can change the outcome. I know a lot of people feel that way when it comes to the Kansas City Chiefs. More comments here. Super Serial 1, shout out to you. Tomorrow morning, I'm driving 20 hours to Houston from Colorado to watch my first game at NRG Stadium. We'll be broke as fuck afterwards. Whatever. Go Texans. Well, Super Serial, I hope they win it for you. I will tell you this. Make sure that you get to the stadium at a good time. Rush hour in Houston, no joke. Jokes are often made about the late arriving crowd at NRG Stadium. 7 p.m. on a weeknight, not optimal. It's better than 6 p.m. like the game against the Buccaneers was on a Monday. But make sure you get there early. I would have sworn, and I'm assuming Super Serial, that you don't live close to Denver, because flights Denver to Houston are not the most unreasonable, right? At least on the Southwest. Part of me thinks to myself, hey, I the round trip, 20 hours versus the flight, where do you draw the line? But hey, have a safe journey. Be careful. I don't know if it's snowing up there. It's very nice, the temperature down here right now. Stephen Marcus 275 says Buffalo looks good. Yeah, dude, they're up and down, but they're coming off of a great win against the Bucs. 44-32 yesterday. Stop the Cap says whatever the spread and over. I'm thinking Texans. Okay. Good for you. What did D'Amico Ryans and Davis Mills have to say after the game? D'Amico Ryans, you know the Texans are doing well when D'Amico leads off the press conference thanking the big man upstairs. Over the course of the press conference, he mentioned a couple of times, we're finishing. Oh, yeah? We're finishing? Well, we can finish better. He highlighted the 3rd and 16. The quarterback's escaping. He definitely holds the defense to a higher standard than the offense, which, by the way, he should. I mean, the defense played pretty well for most of the game, but they had a couple of slip-ups, especially towards the end. You know, you have the Titans with their backs to their own goal line, and you allow a 95-yard touchdown drive and that 3rd and 16 deep pass. I don't know what the hell happened there. But D'Amico credited Davis Mills getting the ball regularly to Nico Collins in the second half. That one sideline catch on the last drive of the game in particular, the big moment when it comes to the connection between those two. Backup quarterbacks got to feed the number one wide receiver. Just keep on feeding them. Feed me, Seymour! I don't know if I'm doing it right. I actually haven't watched that movie, that Rick Moranis movie. What's it called? It's not the Rocky. Is it the Rocky Horror Picture Show? No, that's the one. It's the one with is it Tim Burton? Right? No? What's his face? Tim Curry. That's it. Tim Curry. But there's another one. Little Shop of Horrors, I think is what it is. Anyway, after the game, here's D'Amico Ryans talking about D. Mills, a.k.a. Money Mills, a.k.a. the next man up. I'm sorry.
I'm as calm as can be, nice and easy. Great, know they're gonna make the play. Nice, it was. You just trust your guys, right? And that's what Davis has shown. Davis keeps me calm because he's so calm in the moment. But who we're going to with the football matters. And when Nico's out there, he's getting targeted. I think for the most time, when he gets targeted, he comes down with the football.
Davis Mills does not keep me calm, but I will say, he has given the Texans a lot more than I thought he was capable of. One of the most highly paid backups in the league. Second best contract for backup quarterbacks in the league. And yet, remember 2 years ago, there's a Texans-Titans game where C.J. Stroud can't go. And they went with Case Keenum instead of Mills. But to Mills' credit, Mills has gotten better. I used to get really frustrated going to Texans practices with Davis Mills, specifically going into C.J. Stroud's rookie season where it was supposedly up in the air who would be the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year. But I think everyone was like, yeah, it's going to be Stroud. Mills used to have a really tough time throwing passes to the sideline. He used to sail them and throw them out. And if there's anything that you want to give Mills a lot of credit for, with that big cannon of his, he is really good at throwing passes towards the sideline. The touch has improved. He zips it in there. And you want to give him more credit. Yes, he sometimes locks into one receiver and a defender can tell where the hell it's going to go. But for the most part, the throws he's made over the last couple of weeks, there's been only a few where you're like, oh, shit. Oh, fuck. It was that one where he was looking down Christian Kirk, third play of the game against the Jaguars. That's really it. Davis Mills, as for him after the game, here is the quarterback of your Houston Texans for now. And optimally, it's going to be C.J. Stroud on Thursday, talking about staying calm.
I don't know if there's too much of a process. I think it's a lot of it is my natural demeanor. I've never been very emotional as a person. Never kind of got too upset if something bad happens. I've always had the mindset and the mentality of kind of what next play. You hear it a lot in the football terms, like next play mentality. And D'Amico talks about it a lot, but that's kind of just how I've always been on the field and off the field. Can't really control the uncontrollables. You just got to focus on what's next and what you can do to change the outcome of the game in the best way possible.
Do you like the high pressure moments?
Yeah, they're fun. I think kind of everything kind of slows down. the field, the space opens up, and when you can settle in there and you know exactly what your process is, you know exactly what the play that's being called is, and you can kind of, especially late in the game, like I've seen the defense the whole entire game at this point, so I know most of their calls, the disguises that they've already showed, and you can kind of start using the stuff in your mind to anticipate and play even faster.
High pressure moments. Yeah, they're fun. I don't feel great in high pressure moments with Davis Mills under center, but I do feel better given the last 2 weeks. Sure, it's the Titans. All right, it's the Jaguars, but do you expect your backup quarterback to lead 2 game-winning drives in back-to-back weeks? Do not say you now trust Mills more than C.J. Stroud based off of these 2 weeks. That's for fucking crazy people. But he's done what he was supposed to do. And it really does make you wonder, where would this team be if Stroud had not gotten hurt against the Broncos? I want to know I must know if anything's improving. The film junkies, you got to let me know. What's improving right now? What's getting better? Is the offensive line getting better? I thought it was, and then yesterday happened. Is the offensive operation getting better? I wanted to say it was, and then again yesterday happened. Davis Mills gets sacked 4 times. They really struggled to run the football all game long until the end. Did progress happen yesterday? I mean, think about the last 2 weeks. It's taken the Texans offense a lot of time to get moving. Second half in both of these games. I suppose that means that you got to give some credit to Nick Caley for adjusting as the game goes along. But what's the plan going into the game? And how does this team look better early on? Because against a team like Buffalo, who's going to put points on the scoreboard, even if the Texans defense gives them hell. I know you might go back to last year and say, well, look how difficult it was for Josh Allen last time around. All right, sure. I mean, hey, they could repeat that. But is the offense going to help them out? Because this is definitely one of those games where you look at it and you say, okay, it's a backup quarterback. You make some excuses. But at the same time, you're also thinking to yourself, fuck. When is this team going to take that step forward? And perhaps C.J. Stroud being out just fucks the whole thing up, you know? Some comments. Chino Barrera says we need a Josh Allen on our team. Well, you got a C.J. Stroud. It's the best I can give you. Chino Barrera also says almost every Texans game ever is a high-pressure moment. At least it feels like it is. Tava from the 717 says Lawrence is y'all daddy. Trevor Lawrence? Did you miss a week ago? Are you fucking stupid? What are you talking about? Did you see that game? Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence? Talking about the same guy? What has Lawrence done at all? I mean, the Jaguars smoked the Chargers yesterday, 35-6. What were Trevor Lawrence's numbers? What are you fucking talking about? Lawrence was 14 of 22 for 153 yards, a touchdown and an interception. They won that game yesterday, the Jaguars, because they ran the ball 47 times for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. What are you talking about? Wild. Trolling comment, I'm assuming. Samson4 says, we squeaked out the win, honestly. My hope is Josh Allen is too tired after balling out to be ready on Thursday. Yeah, I was hoping for an overtime game yesterday between the Bills and the Bucs. It was trending in that direction, but the Bills pulled away in the fourth quarter. What else was said after yesterday's game. I took a look at Aaron Wilson does a great job of putting all the best sound together from Texans players afterwards. Give him a follow on YouTube. He's got a big following. This is a hilarious question. Nico Collins, when asked about, not a question, just a funny answer. Nico Collins, when asked about Texans kicker Matthew Wright, who has stepped in for Kaimi Fairbairn the last couple of weeks.
Came up with the dub at the end.
I got to ask about your kicker.
Oh, yeah, come on now. He cold. He cold. He got ice in his veins. Calm under pressure. No, ain't no pressure. And they call timeout just to see, try to ice him a little bit. But no, man, I'm glad, it kept us calm. End of the day, man, I'm glad we won.
Matthew Wright is cold. Listen. Matthew Wright is no longer a pee pants. His face looks pee pants-ish after what he did yesterday. But, I mean, does this man look cold? I'm just not getting that vibe. Does this man look cold? This man. I don't know why you can't make pictures bigger on Google, but I mean, does this guy look cold? Not really. But to his credit, he's stepped up the last couple of weeks. So let's be nice. Let's be nice. I'm really trying to figure out this Tubba from the 717. Y'all beat the Trash Titans, laughing my ass off. Like, where is the 717? 717 area code. From South Central Pennsylvania? Huh. Surprised you have internet. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Anyone see these comments after the game from Jeffrey Simmons, Titans defensive tackle? I saw a lot of anger about this among Texans fans. Here is Jeffrey Simmons after yesterday's game talking about the Texans and how the Titans compare to them.
I'll tell you, I'm tired of coming in the locker room losing. When you know that team not better than us, I don't care what people say.
Huh?
They got some good players, but we should have won that game. We got to stop beating ourselves, and I'm sure y'all tired of hearing me saying it, tired of everybody else saying it. We need to stop beating ourselves.
So, two ways of looking at this. First off, from Jeffrey Simmons' perspective, he's the leader of the team. He's trying to keep this thing together. They don't even have their primary head coach going into the year. I'm not dumping on him for this quote. I'm not. It's delusional sounding for sure. But watch this game back. How many times did the Titans get called for false starts? This was actually a game where the Texans relatively had a clean operation. Just 5 penalties in the game. There was a sequence, though, where the Titans had back-to-back false starts. And there was a moment as well where they showed Jeffrey Simmons on the sideline clearly yapping at the defense. I think this was after Will Anderson had strip-sacked Cam Ward, and the Titans held the Texans to a field goal there. Are the Titans as good as the Texans? Are they as talented as the Texans? I don't believe that. I think the best player on the Texans are significantly better than the best players on the Titans. Significantly better. It's really just Jeffrey Simmons. I do not know another good Titan player. Couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I like what Cam Ward says. Cam Ward has flashes from time to time. But, and after that, like I really do not know who's good. But I don't blame Jeffrey Simmons for saying that. I don't. This is one of those quotes, though, that's going to just get laughed at while you're a part of a laughingstock franchise. Cody says Tony Pollard has good games here and there. I mean, yeah. Childish Black says Ridley's out for the year, and I don't remember Ridley playing at all, you know? So that was Jeffrey Simmons after the game yesterday. I know that got a lot of reaction. You heard from Titus Howard before the game. Titus Howard, for what it's worth, is healthy. He left the game, but he came back in afterwards. So that was nice to see. He's not dead. Huzzah. Huzzah. All right. We'll continue to take some of your thoughts. Let's take a look at everything that happened in the National Football League yesterday. So, game of the day, in my opinion, because there was offense. The Bills beat the Bucks 44-32. We will see the Texans play the Bills Thursday at NRG Stadium. Huge day for Josh Allen. He threw for 317 yards, 3 touchdown passes. And while he was picked off twice, he also ran the ball 6 times for 40 yards and 3 touchdowns. You had him on your fantasy team, you probably won. How did he make this happen? A great question, because I do not recognize any of the guys leading the team in receptions. Who the fuck is Tyrell Shavers? I don't know. 4 catches for 90 yards and a touchdown. Who's Ty Johnson? 2 catches for 61 yards and a touchdown. James Cook, I recognize him. Not a great day on the ground for him. 16 carries for 48 yards. 3 catches for 66 and a touchdown, though. Those are your 3 leading receivers. Ty Johnson scored on a 52-yard touchdown. James Cook scored on a 25-yard touchdown reception. And Shavers scored on a 43-yard touchdown. Big plays for the Bills. The Texans give up big plays from time to time. As far as the Bucks were able to run the ball quite successfully against the Bills, which makes me wonder if the Texans can do something similar. 39 carries on the ground for 202 yards and 3 touchdowns. Sean Tucker, Syracuse guy, the leading rusher, 19 carries for 106 yards and 2 touchdowns. They had success running the football. Defensively, very little success. Throwing the ball, not a lot of success either. But they did run the ball against Buffalo, which means that the Texans can theoretically run the ball against Buffalo as well. Greg Todd points out the funny part is that the Bills kept Keon Coleman, their number 1 receiver, out because he was late to a practice. Right. I think he was asked, hey, did you learn a lesson? He was like, I don't know. What else happened in the National Football League yesterday? We mentioned it a little bit before. The Jaguars beat the Chargers 35-6. Had the Chargers beat the Jaguars, the Texans in playoff position would be in because they have a better division record and conference record than the Jaguars. And since they split their games against one another, they have the tiebreaker. Really impressive performance by Jacksonville's defense. The Chargers couldn't do much. They're down their starting left tackle and right tackle. Eventually, Trey Lance came into the game. I'm not sure when. I don't know if Herbert got hurt, but Lance played for the last 11 minutes of the game. I mean, man, the Chargers gave up early in this one. Herbert was only sacked 2 times, I guess, but considering Trevor Lawrence did very little, the Jaguars won because their defense had a great game holding the Chargers in check, and because they ran all over them, 47 carries for 192 yards and 4 touchdowns. That result is not bad for the Texans as far as playoff positioning goes. I'm looking at LA, a team that the Texans play down the stretch, and while it's great that the Texans control their own destiny as far as a tiebreaker with the Chargers, who they beat in the playoffs last year, I would prefer the Chargers not be a team with a great record way ahead of them in the AFC playoff standings. So LA is 7-4 right now. Their schedule the rest of the way is as follows. I do think that there are some more losses in store for them. They're on the bye week this coming week. They host the Raiders coming out of the bye. But then Eagles at the Chiefs, who will likely be fighting for their playoff lives, at the Cowboys, who are always, I would say, a challenge from what they can do offensively, even if their defense stinks. Texans at home. That'll probably be a road game for LA. At the Broncos to wrap up the year. They're going to lose some more games. So a Jaguars win, not optimal, but I actually think it helps the Texans out from a playoff perspective, even if the Texans would not be in the playoffs if the season ended today. I look at the Jaguars' schedule down the stretch, and I saw earlier, it was pointed out, they do not have a difficult schedule. That's true. Cardinals, Titans twice, Colts twice, Jets, Broncos. They should win at least 4 of those final games, which means they'd likely be 10-7 at worst. And that's going to make it a little bit more difficult for the Texans to catch up. Could the Jaguars lose one of those games, though? Sure. They almost lost to the fucking Raiders, you know? They lost to the Bengals in week 2, although that was with Joe Burrow still healthy, I think, at that moment in time. What else happened yesterday across the National Football League? As far as games that impact the Texans, how about the Broncos? With a 22-19 win over the Chiefs, Broncos are 9-2. This was a hell of a game. Looked like the Chiefs, when Travis Kelce, who had a great game, 9 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown, scored to give Kansas City the lead. It did look like the Chiefs were going to end up winning this thing. But to Denver's credit, Bo Nix hung in there. They got 2 field goal drives at the end after holding Kansas City to 2 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter. Their defense is as good, if not better, than that of the Texans, and they get the dub. That win put the Texans ahead of the Chiefs as far as playoff possibilities. Yes, the Texans play the Chiefs. They control their own destiny. No one's looking forward to that game. Chiefs own the Texans to this point, even if they are not the Chiefs of old. I would prefer that the Texans don't have to take care of business against Kansas City when it comes to a tiebreaker. So you want the Chiefs to have the worst possible record if you're hoping for the Texans and their playoff chances. Other games yesterday that affected the Houston Texans and the playoff push. Ravens beat the Browns 23-16. The Ravens are 5-5. You have the tiebreaker over them because you beat them early. This game saw the Browns defense doing Browns defense stuff, but it also saw, after Dylan Gabriel suffered a concussion, the debut of the Shedeur Sanders era. And by the way, Shedeur sucked. 4 of 16 for 47 yards and an interception. He was sacked twice. A QBR of 2.4. A rating of 13.5 on the 158.3 scale. He was fucking awful yesterday. It was his first game, tough situation to get your first start. He'll probably start the next game for Cleveland, and we'll see how he does. But I have no ill will towards Shedeur Sanders, but the cult that follows Shedeur Sanders is obnoxious as fuck. And I don't know how many people saw that super embarrassing post by Josina showing an improbable throw by Shedeur Sanders. It was a check down where Jerry Jeudy made some incredible things happen and it eluded a couple of people. She was posting it as if like Shedeur Sanders made that happen. Someone called her out for it and she said, "Look how quick you are to dismiss credit." He didn't deserve any fucking credit for a check down where a guy catches the ball and is able to juke a couple of people. The Shedeur Sanders people are the reason that people are rooting against Shedeur Sanders. Yes, there are some people that don't like Dion, they don't like Shedeur, all that shit. Obviously, that's part of it. But I think for people that are not that invested, the people who are the biggest Shedeur Sanders supporters are such fucking assholes online that you want Shedeur to fail so they'll shut the fuck up. and go away forever. They're constantly bringing race into the equation. No, it's not about that. Clearly, the Browns, with a two-time coach of the year in Kevin Stefanski, who you might not be a big fan of, didn't want to take Shedeur Sanders. Why? I don't know. Was it entitlement? Was it because they didn't like what they saw on film? But Dylan Gabriel in this game wasn't bad, at least statistically. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Browns were winning the game when Dylan Gabriel got knocked out. Sanders comes in. Ravens rally. More games as they affect the Houston Texans. Then we'll get to some of your comments. Other games that affected the Houston Texans yesterday. Steelers beat the Bengals 34-12. That might be it for the Bengals as far as playoffs. This game had some drama. First off, Aaron Rodgers injured his left wrist, left the game. Mason Rudolph had to finish it. Also, there was a moment where Jamar Chase clearly spit on Steelers cornerback Jalen Ramsey. He clearly spit on him. No debating that at all. And Jalen Ramsey got pissed, decided to throw hands. I can understand why. Spitting on someone's pretty fucking disrespectful. But Chase denied it after the game. And he was caught in 4K, as the kids say. What does that mean for the Bengals? Is Chase potentially going to get suspended? He might. And guess who the Bengals play on Sunday? A team that a lot of people believe has had the easiest schedule in the NFL. The New England Patriots. The 9-2 New England Patriots. They might get to go up against a Bengals team without Jamar Chase. Had he not denied that he did that, maybe he doesn't get suspended. Maybe he just gets fined. But I don't know. I think he's going to get suspended for that game. Other games from yesterday. Hey, the Texans beat the 49ers, who are 41-22. Give them some credit. Give them some credit. Look at that. The Texans beat a 7-win team this year. Now, Cardinals are circling the drain. Big game for Jacoby Brissett. You see the numbers for Brissett? Garbage time numbers? 452 yards passing on 57 attempts. Jesus. Cardinals ran the ball 14 times in that game. Brock Purdy was back for the Niners. 19-26 for 200 yards and 3 touchdowns. So the Mac Jones experience over. We'll see if the 49ers can hang around. The NFC West, good God, what a division. Also in the NFC West, the Rams took down the Seahawks 21-19. Sam Darnold finally had a Sam Darnold game. That's not to say Sam Darnold is a bad player. He has improved tremendously over the last couple of years. 4 interceptions. Oh, gross. Gross. That's a big win for LA. That Sam Darnold threw 4 interceptions and the Seahawks only lost by 2 is a testament to how good this Seahawks team is. When do these two teams play one another again? Very intrigued. Oh, I guess that's the second time. Am I crazy? No, okay. They play Thursday Night Football towards the end of the year. That game in Seattle. We'll see how it goes. But the Rams are atop the NFC West at 8-2, Seahawks 7-3, 49ers 7-4. God, what a tough schedule for the Texans this season. Other games yesterday. The Packers beat the Giants 27-20. Jameis Winston stepping in did not get the Giants back on track. I don't think anyone expected that. Jordan Love was out of this game for a little bit. Malik Willis came in, actually threw a touchdown pass. I remember there was a big vocal contingent of Texans fans who wanted the Texans to take Malik Willis. No, bad. That's a bad Texans fan. But the Packers get a win, and they remain one of the biggest enigmas in the league, where they're 6-3-1, but there's serious questions about head coach Matt LaFleur and his status going forward. Bears 19, Vikings 17. Anyone see that game? Caleb Williams, not a very impressive stat line. 16 of 32 for 193 yards, but he went up against J.J. McCarthy, who was also 16 of 32 with 2 interceptions. One of those games where, once again, the Vikings didn't do shit until the fourth quarter, but then in the fourth quarter, they score a couple of touchdowns after being down 14 to take a 1-point lead. Bears won on a walk-off field goal with 48 seconds to go. Bears are 7-3. I would say of all the teams in the league, with 7 or more wins, I think the Bears are the biggest frauds. I just don't really see it with Caleb Williams. I know some people are going to be like, what are you talking about? I watch the college. Blah. Fuck off. Like, I don't see it. Panthers beat the Falcons 30-27. The Panthers are 6-5. Bryce Young, 448 yards passing and 3 touchdowns in the game. Damn. I think the Falcons are going to fire Raheem Morris probably at the end of the year. While I don't know that Bill Belichick would have done better than Raheem Morris, it is kind of weird that they went this route, like a failed coach with the Bucs. And then remember when we played that clip of Michael Penix talking about his support system? Oof. What else? I think there's only one game left. Oh, yeah. Sunday Night Football. I was watching this while also watching the first episodes of the Ken Burns Revolutionary War documentary. Oh, my God. It's so good. I got sucked in. I got to stop doing things that are non-football related late on Sunday nights. Eagles 16, Lions 9. All that drama. All that, oh, what's going on with the Eagles? And their offense struggled again. Jalen Hurts just 14-28, passing for 135 yards. But the Eagles defense gave Jared Goff a tough time. He was just 14-37 on the game. They held Jahmyr Gibbs to just 39 yards rushing. Gibbs did a lot of what he was able to do by air. They had a 42-yard reception from Jahmyr Gibbs, a 40-yard reception from Jameson Williams, but the Lions just really had a tough time moving the football. They're now 6-4. Eagles are 8-2, and through all the drama, they just keep on winning. Tonight, Monday Night Football, Cowboys, Raiders. Ugh, not a great game. Not a great game. I do want Pete Carroll to get some wins, but I don't know what's going to happen. Colts had a bye, Saints had a bye, so there you go. Let's get to some of your comments. AR Platinum asks, you believe him now? Believe who? Sorry, I'm not 100% sure. What up, Rob the Slob? La da 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 da. Shout out for the follow, Casper Mode. Shout out to Garrett Lutz, longtime listener. Shout out to Joshua Cooper. Definitely have to watch some of these highlights to potentially feel better. Pat the Dog says the Saints did not lose. Congratulations to your Saints. You are right. They did not lose. They did not lose. Cody, am I ready for CJ Stroud to be back? Yes. Lloyd S. Taylor says he's paying $5,000 to the first 5 people to message me. God did. Hey, Lloyd Taylor, I got a message for you. Fuck off. How about that? Hate people like that. Yes, Rob the Slob. Renfest was wild. Going to take some of the happenings of that Renfest to my grave. Eloise Longbottom says, what's wrong with the Cowboys winning? They lost a player. Which guy died? Marshawn Nealand. Yeah, that was awful. Oof. It was brutal. Forgot that was about a week ago. That was right after he had scored his first ever touchdown, too. It's really sad. Lots of teams won on last-second field goals. You're right, Sasquatch 86. And what does that tell you about the National Football League? It's tough to win. Very tough to win. All right, guys, there you go. That's going to wrap up today's edition of the Gallant Says podcast. We do this weekdays. This week, we're doing it at 7 a.m. Central. You can join me on a variety of different platforms. I would appreciate if you liked and subscribed on all those channels. YouTube. Like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Twitch, @Gallant Says. Give me a sub if you want, but a follow's enough for me. X, Twitter, @Gallant Says, @Gallant Says Pod. Instagram, @SportsGallant. Give me a follow. TikTok, @Gallant Says. Give me a follow. Facebook, @Paul Gallant Sports. It's available after the fact, wherever you get your podcasts. So if you haven't already, subscribe, rate, and review the Gallant Says podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Until tomorrow morning, at 7 a.m. Central Time. So long, farewell.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, you ladies of Spain.
My cat says bye. So long, farewell. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Monday. Peace!